The Catwalk Podcast showcases the greatest of the people of the Permian Basin through partnering and conversation with high-level leaders, social entrepreneurs, nonprofit leadership, and industry executives.
Welcome, everyone, to another edition of The Catwalk. I am your host, Jay Whitlow. Still do not have my heater working in my car, if you were listening last week. Sitting over on the controls is Chris. Chris, what's up?
Oh, not a lot. Just living the dream.
Living the dream? That's awesome. Well, funny thing happened. I got to get this out of the way because I really need to figure out if this is a thing or not, okay? So everyone knows I love Chick-fil-A, right? That's my place.
Okay.
Right? So I'm eating there the other day, and you know, sauce packets. We've had the discussion about sauces, right? But this, I've never seen this happen before in my life, okay? This couple, I'm saying their husband and wife, they were sitting there with their kids. He has his sauce packet open like this, about halfway.
Okay.
All right? Now, granted, you can't get all of the sauce out if it's halfway, right? The little protective covering or whatever. So I'm just enjoying my meal, and the guy's wife just takes it completely off, right? And sets it down, and he goes, "What did you do that for?" They got into this huge argument over why she ripped the entire little paper lid off of the sauce. Is that a thing?
I think it goes along the same lines of someone getting annoyed by like having too many notifications on a phone.
Okay.
Like you should hear when my wife sees that I have not cleared a single notification off of my cell phone.
She gets upset.
It drives her nuts. So I'm assuming it has to go along like that. Like either go all in or don't do it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get how I pull mine all the way to the edge. I don't rip mine off. I pull it all the way to the edge. That way I don't drop it on the floor. It doesn't get messed up, but I don't leave it half because I want to enjoy all of the sauce that's in there. But I never would complain to someone else, at least I hope I wouldn't, on how they pull their sauce packet apart, right?
Yeah, let them live their life. Like it's not enough of an issue to have an argument over. It's such a petty detail.
Exactly.
That,
in the public.
And I was really hoping this story was going to lead to you getting banned at Chick-fil-A, but
well, that's probably coming at some point, and I'm sure you will jump for joy when that happens. Hey, tell me, it's been a while, I know, but did you ever go to prom? Did you go to prom in high school?
yep, went to both of my proms. We did junior and senior prom growing up.
Anything special or odd happen at your prom?
Nothing odd or special. It was pretty, like looking back at it as an adult, I'm like, all right, that was pretty lame of an event.
Yeah.
But so my first prom I went to, I didn't have a date. And so me and another buddy went together and we got bored. And so we went and watched Varsity Blues because it had just come out in theaters.
Great movie.
And so the next year I had a date, and I had no experience dating at that point. So I was the lamest prom date.
Really?
I'm not a dancer. Like,
Come on.
I wasn't much of a social person back then. Like, she was bored out of her mind. And so that was the gist of my prom experience, just being the lamest prom date I could be.
Wow. Well, my junior prom was probably your normal garden variety prom that everybody has, not anything special. But my senior prom, it was held in Dallas at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in downtown Dallas. And at the same time over Reunion Arena, Eddie Murphy was doing a stand-up routine, but Eddie was staying in the hotel where our prom was, and he came through and made a little appearance and waved, grabbed the DJ's mic, said a few things to us. Back when Axel Foley was real popular with his movie Beverly Hills Cop, and anyway, it was great. That was the highlight of the prom that we had. But the reason why I asked that is because we're going to talk with our guest today about an event that she is passionate about, that her and her team and her church and some other community organizations are putting on. It's called Love Without Limits, and we're going to talk about that. But our guest today is Ami Hedges. And Ami is currently the women's ministry director at Stonegate Fellowship. And we've been friends for a while, and I'm excited for you to hear her journey. She was born in Memphis, Texas, of all places, and I want to find out about her journey from Memphis through the time with her parents being in the Mission Service Corps to where she's ended up here at Midland and at Stonegate. So after the break, we want you to enjoy our interview with our special guest today, Ami Hedges.
Elevate your operation with Performance Chemical Company, the pioneers in redefining chemical solutions for the oil and gas industry in the Permian Basin. Unveiling groundbreaking ideas since 2017, our dry chemistry plant stands as a testament to innovation. Our products and services revolutionize water treatment, production, midstream, and saltwater disposals. We're your strategic partners in optimizing investments, slashing operating expenses. Performance Chemical Company. How you get there matters.
Well, welcome back to the Catwalk. This is my good friend, Miss Ami Hedges. How are you doing, Ami?
Good. How are you doing?
Welcome to the Catwalk.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I, in the opening, shared a little bit about your bio, and I want to know about Memphis, Texas. I don't even know where that is. So,
Well, I don't know much about it because I was just a baby when we were there.
Yeah.
But it's over East Panhandle area. Do you know where Childress, Texas is?
yeah, okay.
It's over in that area.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the Panhandle area.
Yep.
Okay, so you were just born there, and then your parents went into the Mission Service Corps?
Yes, sir. It's funny because we always joke and say our dad was like Jesus because he's been a carpenter, a welder, like he's done it all.
He has done it all.
He has done it all.
Yeah.
And then when I was around 7, we were in Amarillo, and they both surrendered to the Mission Service Corps. And it would be kind of like North American Mission Board now, stuff like that.
Okay.
And there's 5 of us kids, and they said, we're going to go where you send us. And it was between Montana or Maine. And the
Two
Lord,
M states.
yes,
Yeah,
and
okay.
totally different from Texas.
Yeah.
And they chose, well, God pointed them to Montana. So we went to Montana. And
God's country, right?
yes, we loaded up. It was great because I still know it. We loaded up in a Volkswagen bus. Have you ever seen those?
Okay.
They look like
remember
surfer
those, yeah.
buses. Yeah. It was orange. We were going, and we went. And Dad went, and he was associate pastor at a church in Billings, Montana.
Okay.
And it was just sweet. That's where I accepted the Lord as my Savior when I was 9.
Awesome.
And then he took us about an hour south of Billings he was pastor in a church in Hardin, Montana, which is right on the border of the Crow Reservation.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
all
You have
these
to tell me
different
about
people
that, yeah.
groups, people groups galore, they immersed us in that. But they were always faithful in saying wherever God leads them, they'll go.
Yeah.
So this was just many years of traveling because God called them to different places. It seemed like every 2 to 4 years, God said, we're
God was
going.
done there.
We're going.
So we're going somewhere else.
But they always had that faith, we're going to listen to what God says.
Yeah.
And it's funny now, looking back when I was a kid, all 5 of us were like, excuse me, but are y'all going to ask us about this? And they're like, no, because we have trusted the Lord with our life.
Okay.
And so after that, I'm trying to remember, we moved up in Montana, further up over a little bit. And then Dad said, I'm going to go to seminary. I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah.
then we go to New Orleans.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
hold
okay.
on.
So you went down to Southern.
Listen,
Yeah.
being from Texas, if you're a Texan all the way. Why are you leaving? And Mom and Dad said, I'm not going to cleave to my family. I'm going to cleave to what you say.
Okay.
And so we're like, okay, we're going to New Orleans. Here we go. You know,
How old were you when you hit New Orleans?
I went to New Orleans when I was in 5th grade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I had older siblings, and they were in junior high and high school.
You were 4th
Yes.
in the line of
In
the
the
kids.
line.
Okay,
Yes. It
yeah.
goes boy, girl, girl.
So you weren't the baby.
No.
you
No.
weren't the
Well, I
oldest,
wasn't the
okay.
middle either, right? But I was the middle daughter, I guess.
So did you have a good childhood? you
Oh,
think,
it was
compared
so
to,
good.
You know,
It was so good in the fact of getting to meet different people,
Yeah.
like different people from all walks of life. And I remember even when we would travel, like come back to Texas, then Dad was always witnessing. Like we always saw that from him. He was always, I remember we were traveling up one time, up back from Texas visiting, and we were traveling up, and we got a flat tire
Okay.
and outside of Denver. And, you know, that was when you didn't have to wear seatbelts. So we were all like splayed out,
glory
you know,
days,
listen,
yeah.
those things fold down, you're in the back, you're just splayed out. So we got a flat and it was dark and cold. And so we were at this truck stop. And my dad was witnessing, just like he always has. And I remember the baby, she had her little, you know, New Testament Bible.
Yeah. Okay.
And my dad was witnessing to a gentleman, and he said, I'm taking your Bible and giving it to him.
Wow.
Like he was that way. There were people, homeless people at our tables often.
Are your parents still alive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They're in Abilene right now.
They're in Abilene.
So
okay.
we're in New Orleans. I would not raise a family in New Orleans. And that was a long time
It's a
ago,
great
and I
city, but
definitely
yeah,
wouldn't do it now.
Great beignets.
Yes, very good
love
beignets.
those.
But there were hardships,
Yeah.
you know, and just life things that you get thrown. I remember my siblings that were in high school, they would get let out, and this was a long time ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they would get let out for gang fights, right? They would let out of school for
okay.
gang fights,
Okay. Yeah.
and they had the security guards and everything like that. Thankfully, I wasn't in junior high and high school, but there was hard, like there was eye-opening events. But it was still, God was just leading Mom and Dad, and we were their children. And
So from New Orleans, where'd you go?
New Orleans, we went back to Montana. And all of us girls were like, well, no, we want to stay in the South. We want to stay in the warm weather.
Yeah.
We're going back to snow. I do not like snow.
You
so
don't?
No, I'm not a cold girl.
Wow.
I like
Well,
the
being in
heat.
Montana, you would think
Yes.
you would be a cold girl.
No. And so we went back up to Montana, but we were on the border of Idaho and Montana.
Yeah.
And that's where we stayed the longest. And so I graduated from high school up there.
Now, Chris, you were in Montana, right? At some point?
Yeah, I lived in Three Forks, right outside of Bozeman.
Okay, so I have a sister that she lives in Belgrade, which is outside of Bozeman.
Right.
And then a sister that lives in Missoula. So
Yeah, I
I
did-
graduated from Thompson Falls, which is up north of Missoula.
Yeah, I worked in commercial production out there,
Oh, okay.
and did a lot of like nature videography, Discovery Channel kind of stuff. We
Wow.
worked with on Ted Turner's ranch doing a production on bison.
That's
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And Chris is a cold weathered guy. He loves that.
Well,
like
y'all
last
can
week when
go
it was
up
like
there. I'll stay back down here.
it was like 10 degrees here last
Right.
week. He's loving it. You know,
Right.
I'm dying,
Yeah.
but he's loving it. So okay, so you said you graduated college, high school?
High school in Montana,
in
and then I
Montana.
went to college in Billings, and that's where I met my husband.
Bo.
Yes.
And you guys have
Good
been
job.
married for
It'll be 24 years in April.
24 years.
He always says we got married in 2000, so he'd remember the year.
That's easy enough right there, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so how did you end up in Midland then? Was it from college and meeting Bo straight to Midland?
Nope. We
No?
went to, we were married in Montana, and we're in Montana for a few years. And then when I had my second child, Ethan, Braden was 3.5, and then Ethan was newborn, and we moved to Gillette, Wyoming.
Okay,
So we were there for 10 years, working in the oil field there.
right.
And then 10 years, and we were really plugged in, and I was teaching school, and just we had a really good network of people. But then God says, nope, we're moving you. Well, the company said,
Yeah.
we're moving you, and so we're going back to Texas. And so that's how we got to Midland.
And you were excited because you knew it was going to be warm.
Going back to Texas because we have family in Amarillo and San Antonio, and so going back.
Okay. And your parents are still alive, and they're in Abilene
Right
and
now,
you're
yes.
Here, and you started teaching school.
Nope.
No.
So when we came here, my oldest was going into junior high and my youngest was in 5th grade. And I was like, I don't know about teaching there. Let me see what God has, right? And so I decided not to teach so I could be available for the boys. And that was hard for me because I'm a worker. Like mom and dad always say, Amy's the workhorse, right? So while I wasn't working, I had to do something. I had to get involved. So I went and volunteered at Hospice Midland.
Okay.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. And people always say, you really enjoyed that? That's hard. But I got to see people.
Yeah.
I got to see people and talk with them, and just having caregivers, like take a minute, go to the store, go to your doctor's appointment, go and take a breath, and then I'll sit with your loved one. And it was very fulfilling. It was really good. But when we came here, we went right to Stonegate Fellowship.
Right.
And
So it had launched already.
yes, it had. Yeah, this was 2015 when we came.
Okay.
And so we're like, okay, we'll go try Stonegate Fellowship. And the boys were plugged in right away. And when you've got teenagers, pre-teeners,
Right.
you're like, okay, we got to go where they're,
quick.
where they're thriving. And so we stayed there. And so we started serving in the kids area. And then they're like, oh, why don't you come work for us? And I'm like, I don't want a full-time job, you know. And they're like, well, just come and do the childcare area, you know, where the people come in
Right.
and they're the first contact because they know Amy can talk, so I'll talk to people.
That's right.
And so I just got to do that, and that was really cool. And then the full-time position, they said, come and work over in the kids ministry. And so I was under Dustin Pierce,
Okay. Yeah.
under him as his admin, and that was good. It was a great gig. And then
And then the Lord had something else.
always I'm like, wait,
Always.
what is
There's
this
a
about?
theme going
There
on here.
is.
Yeah.
But and it's showed me how God prepared me as a kid, because I wanted deep friendship relationships.
Right.
But that's not what it's about, right? That's not what life's about. And so it's sweet now seeing it, but when you're a kid in high school, you're like, no, I need to, you know, be somewhere rooted. So then some of the elders and deacons were like, hey, the women's ministry is coming available. You need to apply for that. And I'm like, y'all are hilarious. Women are hard. Women are hard.
They are difficult.
I'm gonna be
they
honest
are
with you.
difficult,
That's why I was like so glad God gave us boys. And I kept dragging my feet,
Wow.
but I knew I needed to listen to the word. I need to listen to God, what He had in store for me. I was taught that. I was instilled in that. So I said, okay. So I've been women's ministry for 6.5 years now.
Wow. So was there one specific thing that happened in that moment when God was working on you about joining the women's ministry? Was it one thing, or was it just a lot of different variety of things that...
It wasn't one thing. It was just a lot of people. Like God's like, oh, I'm going to put them in your path. Now I'm going to put them in your path. I'm like, okay. But I'm a very loyal person.
Yeah.
And so I don't like to job hop. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
And so Dustin said, Amy, I know you're struggling with this. I release you. If that's what God has called you to do, do
Right.
it. And because I'm not schooled. I didn't go to seminary. But that's the beauty of the Lord,
Right.
right? Like He uses all of us. He uses all of us. We just have to answer the call.
And it
So-
seems like, we were joking about the theme here, but it is part of your story.
Yes.
Is that your parents showed you, hey, we may have some plans of our own, but we're going to follow what God's plan
Yes.
is.
No matter what.
No matter what. And it has brought you here.
Yeah.
And a couple of years ago, it brought us to meet.
Yes.
And which is really what I want to focus on a little bit. And so glad to reconnect with you.
Yes.
And hear your story, because I didn't know the journey. I just knew you
No.
were at Stonegate. You were
That's
women's
right.
ministry.
Exactly.
But you have a passion for people. You mentioned it earlier that you love people. You love to hear their stories, to be involved in their life, and I applaud you for that. But you're involved as a leader for an organization or an event called Love Without Limits.
Yes, sir.
So let's just have fun with this because
Oh.
that was something that really grabbed me the first time I'd heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was serving locally here, I was involved in that. And you guys have this event coming up. So
Yes.
I want to talk about that. But tell us, what is
Love Without
Limits?
So Love Without Limits is a special needs prom for anybody with special needs age 14 and up. And we have some that are in their 70s. And it's so sweet to be a part of that because this is their first prom experience for many of them.
Right.
And at first I was like, okay, what are we doing? And like I said, your first one, you are hooked.
Yeah.
Just seeing like Christ's love of how they love, that's how the special needs community loves.
Right.
They love so deeply and love you no matter what. And I'm like, what a great thing and I want people to be seen. I want to be seen. It's not the good feeling when you're not seen, right?
Right.
And special needs community is one of the most unreached people groups. And you're like, wow.
Really?
Yeah, and it's very interesting than that because a lot of people are scared. But if you just treat them as people and like treat you as Jay instead of the guy that does the Catwalk podcast or the guy that's whatever you want to put in there, you see people so differently. And so it's a free event, not only for the kings and queens, that's what we call them. Like everybody, all the attendees are crowned kings and queens because they're special in the eyes of God. It's all about them. It's their night, and it's a free event, and volunteers from all over the community, not just in churches. We partner with Mid-Cities. We started with Mid-Cities, and then we pulled on Crestview when you were there.
Right.
And it's people from companies. There's companies that are serving together. There's different churches. Like people are like, wait, hold on. Stonegate gets along with Mid-Cities and Crestview, and I'm like, we're on the same
is weird.
team.
Yeah.
It is weird.
It is weird.
Because we try to protect, right?
Right. Yeah.
But we're on the same team. If we're trying to influence others for the Lord, we should look
Moving
at it as
people
that.
to the kingdom.
Yes, yes. So they come for the night. It is dancing. It is riding in limousines. It is horse carriages. Karaoke. Karaoke is one of our favorite places to be.
Really?
And it's so interesting. The line will be backed up. They know every song, all the words, even some that are not clean. Sometimes those run through, and you're like, no, it's time to stop that. But it has happened. It has.
We need the dump button on that one,
That's exactly
for that song.
right.
Yeah.
But it's just like they're like, look what I can do. And they're not scared. They're like, no, I'm going to keep going. So we have to limit it down to like a minute and a half, or you're going to be standing there for a 5-minute song and hundreds
they'll
of
go
them
through the
lined
whole
up.
thing.
Yes, and they know it. Or they'll go through the whole album. Like Taylor Swift is very top on their charts.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
But it's just, we'll have karaoke, and it's sweet because every year there's proposals in the karaoke room. Every year.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And it's so funny because it could be some of them that they are like dating or they think they're dating.
Yeah.
And then other ones are like, wait, I don't even know you and you're proposing to me. But just the sweetness in it.
That's funny.
And
I
last
can
year
only imagine that going on. So. Yeah.
and last year we had one on the dance floor.
Really?
Like I think I brought that photo. He's down on
You have
his
that
knee.
photo with
Yeah, I
you?
have that
Yeah.
photo. Let me
Yeah,
let me
because you
get
brought
it.
some things with us. Now, the event is Friday, February the 9th.
Yep, from 6
From 6
to
to
9.
9, Stonegate Fellowship. We'll put on the show notes how people can learn about it, but can they also, is it too late to volunteer?
No. Well, you can
awesome.
sign up.
Yeah,
And if the stipulations on volunteer, you have to be at least 16
okay.
and up. And you have to clear a background check if you're 18 and up. But we want to protect,
Right,
the
sure.
clients. We want them to know that they're special and they're trained. So if you sign up, you can go to stonegatefellowship.com, sign up
Right.
as a volunteer. Anybody can sign up. You just got to clear a background check. And then you'll get the video, the training video, and you can watch it and understand like what your
What would a
role. and what
volunteer
you're gonna
do?
So we have many things. We have a buddy. The buddy's the biggest
Buddy.
thing because every king and queen has a buddy. And the buddy's there with them and stays with them the whole time.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Even if they have a date or they're dancing with somebody else, they can dance behind
they're
them.
proposing to
right, Or they're
someone, yeah.
proposing. That's
Yeah.
right. Don't get involved in it, but You're with them
That's
the
awesome.
entire time, and the parents are like, "Wait, you see my kid? Even my kid that's 45?
Yeah.
Even my kids that's at whatever age." And the interesting thing is when you see the clients outside of Love Without Limits, because that's our hope. Our hope is for
Right.
this to be a launching point for people to go out in the community and serve with the special needs. It's not just to be a one night and we're done.
Yeah.
It's to be like, we're drawing attention to this. We need workers, and all you can do is just love people, and you can do it in different avenues. So you can be a buddy, you can be a greeter.
Yeah.
You can work in the parents' room, because there's a parents' room, and the parents come, and they are loved on. They have dinner together. They have door prizes, and they also the whole time they get to watch a live stream of their king or queen
and they can
dancing
see,
or singing or whatever. So they're part of it, but they know that we care about their person. And it's really interesting because when we started this, there's some parents that this is their like date to reconnect with those other parents, and they come and they get
Great
pictures with each
opportunity,
other.
yeah.
And then they can talk like, "Hey, I'm struggling with this. How did you deal with that?" Just
Right.
like leaning on each other. Or if parents want to just go, "Okay, I finally get a night off." They usually don't get a night off, right?
Yeah.
And so they go home, watch Netflix, or do whatever they want to. It's for the kings and queens. It's all about them. And then at 7:30, we have a crowning ceremony, and it's to remind them of the Lord. Remind them that the Lord loves them and that they are designed, called, and gifted just how they are. And it is, sorry, I said I would try not to tear up. It's very passionate to me just because they're seen and they know that they're loved. And like I was saying, when you're serving with them, when it's July, "Oh, we're doing the prom, Miss Amy, we're doing the prom." And I'm like, "Well, not until next February, but yes, we're doing the prom." And just the relationship that's built, even with me, with some of them. One of them, they can request a buddy. They can request like, "Hey, I have such and such coming that's going to volunteer." I would request them. One of the guys that's been coming every year, this is our 5th year in person, he put Ami Hedges, and he actually spelled my name right. And I'm like, "Oh, Charles, you're so sweet, but I'll be busy running all over."
can't
So,
do that,
yeah, it's just sweet knowing like this is relationship.
Yeah.
This is relationship. And so our buddies have developed relationships with their kings and queens. They take them dinner.
Wow.
They take them out to sporting events. They even take the group homes dinner. I mean, it's developing, fostering relationships. So it's so sweet to see and be a part of it.
Is there you think a misunderstanding at times that people have toward a person with special needs, and that this would be a great opportunity for somebody who's kind of struggling with
Yes.
that understanding of like, "I
Yes.
don't know if I can," and what would you say to someone like that?
I would say, like I said, treat them people first, people language first. Because I'm not the headache girl. I'm not the girl with black hair. My name's Amy. I'm a person. And so just God calls us out of our comfort zone.
Right.
And by serving and loving others, that is a huge, he said, love others. And that's the first step. And that's why there's a hesitation and it's scariness because I don't know. And then, like I said, when they come, they're like, "I can do this." And I'm like, "I know you can. You can do this." And I think that's why it's such a community-wide thing, like a Permian Basin thing. We have the fire department, we have security, and it's funny because even the security guys are like, "No, I'm signing up. No, I'm signing up." Because we only have a limited
They take
number.
ownership of it.
Yes, they love it.
Yeah.
And we have the Falcons are coming. Like we have football players like Legacy
awesome.
High standing next to Midland High. And they're standing there greeting and cheering on. Like, we want that.
That's what it should be about.
Because they're going to be out in the workforce working together. They're not in Legacy or they're not in Midland High anymore.
Sure.
And so this year we'll have the Falcons. The Falcons are going to come and their mascots and
Oh, that's gonna be
football
awesome.
team, the dance team, cheerleaders, all of it.
Rain or shine, right?
Yes,
Doesn't
rain
matter.
or shine.
Rain
And
or
it is always cold usually. It's
Yeah,
February.
February. Okay.
And it's funny because I'm like, well, you move to a building, you go to a building,
Yeah.
but we have some, like I said, it's for the kings and queens, whatever they want to do. Their buddies have to do what they want to do. We have some of them that just like to ride in the limousines. They just like to ride.
around
And
it.
let me try this limousine. Okay, we have 7 in a line.
Yeah,
Let me try this limousine. And now we have the horse carriages the last few years.
that's awesome.
They experience, like, they never got to do anything like this.
So the event is Love Without Limits,
Yep.
a Royal Gala
Yep.
on Friday, February the 9th from 6 to 9, and it's hosted at Stonegate
Yes, sir.
Fellowship. And if you're wanting to be a buddy or you want to volunteer, there'll be a link in the show notes where you can just click
Yes.
on that, sign up, and then everything will be sent to them
Yes.
or open up for them
Yep.
to do that. So, so I appreciate you sharing your story and your journey, and especially the event, because I remember the first year that I was a part of it, it was a highlight. I
so
I
good.
walked away from that, and it was so much fun. I was in the parent room
Yep.
and got to see the video and stuff, and it really was great. And I appreciate your.
So wait, did you sign up already?
I have not signed up, but I need to sign up.
Yes, you
for
do,
that. I
because
do.
you'd be great at it.
I do. I would love that. And but I kind of want to finish up some fun questions to you, and then I want to hear who's most influential. I think I kind of know who that might be, maybe. But just a couple of fun questions, just kind of get you thinking differently. What's the
Oh, no.
favorite room in your home? What's
My
your
living
favorite
room.
It's a living room. Why?
Because I have a rocking chair.
A
I
rocking
know.
chair.
I can't keep still. Like, this is the
Yeah, you're
stillest
like
that
me.
I've been.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I gotta.
Man, I
know?
love
Yeah.
that answer because I'm a big rocking chair fan.
You
But
are a rocking chair fan?
That's funny. Y'all,
know,
you need to see Chris for that, right?
I worked at Cracker Barrel for a little while at one point.
Oh, you
Yeah.
could rock all the time.
Early days back in
Early days.
several years ago. But I went there because I wanted to work there because I wanted to get a discount on a Cracker Barrel rocking chair.
Did you buy one or
I
3?
did. Like that was my sole
the
purpose
craziest
of
thing I've
getting the
heard.
job is so I could get a discount on a rocking chair.
Was it a good discount?
It was. It was
Do you
perfect.
still have the rocking chair?
No, my dad has it now.
Do you rock in it when you see him?
Not nearly much anymore. I don't trust it. It's old and it has been moved around a lot.
Yeah.
So it's not really.
I wouldn't trust a single rocking chair.
Oh man, I used
Really?
Yes.
Why?
No, they just don't look stable.
Well, mine is like a lazy boy
Wood that's curved.
recliner.
I just don't get it.
Like the wooden ones, yeah. You
Yeah.
would have to replace it.
Yeah, no.
Especially me. It's funny because when we were little with us 3 girls, we would stand in the hallway at night if we couldn't sleep, and my oldest sister started it, and she would rock back and forth on her legs.
Yeah.
Well, then all 3 of us would be there because we shared a room, right?
Okay.
And so all 3 of us would be standing in the hallway rocking back and forth, and then even in the vehicle, we would be sitting in the vehicle rocking back and forth, and my dad would be like, "Girl, stop."
Stop rocking. All I'm thinking of is "Rockin' Me Baby." That song. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't sing
Keep
it
on
for
rocking me, baby. You know
yes,
what I'm talking about?
keep on rocking me, baby.
Yes, I don't know who
that
sings
song,
that.
yeah.
That's all I
That's right.
think of when you're talking about having a rocking chair over there.
What do you want us to rock you?
No,
you're asking
I am old, but I don't need you to rock me to sleep
Okay.
yet.
So you don't rock?
I do. I rock and roll.
Yeah,
But
me
I don't-
too. I like rock and
I
roll.
don't rock. Okay, what's the loneliest number?
Oh, this seems like loaded. What do you mean?
No, what do you think is the loneliest number?
1.
The song
Why?
said it was one.
Because it's just one, right?
That's right.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
I
Okay.
didn't know if it was a loaded. I'm like, wait, hold on. Are we doing songs?
No, it's not loaded.
We're doing another song. Isn't that a song?
We could. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Morning person. Yes.
Really? See, I would have
my-
guessed the other way.
Drives my husband crazy.
Really?
Because it's funny when we first got married,
Yeah.
we had to establish that, like, Amy, come on, don't talk to me in the morning. You're good, right? You're good. And so I am a morning person.
Really?
And he's a night owl. So I have to, make myself.
Chris, you morning or night?
Nights,
Yeah.
always.
Rocking the chair at night?
I
know it.
get more done the later I'm awake.
Really?
Yeah, like my brain just clicks on come about 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What time do you wake up
Not
then?
me.
Well, now I have to wake up.
You have
at
to be
like
an adult?
7.
That's
I have to be
right.
an
Yeah,
adult,
he has an
You
right?
have to
adult
be an
job
adult,
now.
that's
Yeah.
right.
But
Yeah.
my wife goes to bed at like 8:30.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
my
feel it. I don't
goodness.
go to bed that early, but
The day just starts at
it's
8:30.
yeah, I'm not surprised that you're a night owl.
Yeah, I love it. I can go with now the older that I get, the less sleep or the more sleep that I need. But there
Yes.
was a time in my 30s and 40s, early 50s, I could go all day long and just need 2 or 3 hours of sleep.
My husband can
Now
do that. I can't.
need to get that.
That's not good for your health
sleep.
either,
It's
is
not
it?
good. That's why I'm the way I am now. So, all right. Do you? Okay.
Oh,
Think
wait,
about this
he's
'cause
laughing
I've
already.
done this many times. Do you, before you put paper in the shredder, do you tear it up before you put it in the shredder?
No, I don't.
No,
No.
I do that. I don't know
Why?
why.
What
I
kind
tear
of
it-
You don't
crazy
trust the-
person does that?
I
You don't
tear it a
trust
couple
the
times. and
shredder.
I don't trust the shredder. Is that not weird?
The
That's
sole
hilarious.
purpose of the device is to shred paper.
Yes, but I've got to tear it a couple times and then put it in the shredder.
So why don't you just keep going on tearing it and you don't have to worry about having a shredder?
Because, well, I don't know. That is the weirdest thing I thought of, and I've got to ask Amy.
You're a psychopath.
We need to research this, I
I
think.
know.
Pray for me, okay?
Do you
Pray for me.
do you open canned vegetables with your hand before using the can opener?
No,
Oh,
I don't
that's
do that. No,
Hilarious.
no, I don't do that. But that is a good point.
That was great. Right off the roll there, too. Good
Yeah.
job.
You
I
are a crazy person.
I am crazy person.
We're
but-
going to have to evaluate this.
Yeah, I need counseling. Somebody pray for me. I'm losing my voice already. Okay, Amy, let's wrap this up. Let's land the plane.
Okay.
Love Without Limits. Great event. I'm so excited about what's coming. And if you're out there and you're listening and you want to get involved, your company wants to get involved, your church,
Yes.
or just you, and you're like, I don't know if I could deal with it. It scares me a little bit. Just jump in.
Yeah,
and
or
just do
email
it.
me. Email me.
Or have a conversation
Yeah.
with somebody who's done that before.
Yeah.
All right. Most influential person in your life, who would that be, or who speaks into your life? I mean, we're sitting at this table and we're having this conversation. Who do you allow to sit at your table?
You probably knew I was going to say my parents.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager, I wasn't going to say my parents. I didn't realize that until
Yeah.
I was about 21
Yeah.
because we're not guaranteed where we're born into. And just to have the faith like them and just to keep persevering,
Yeah.
that's who I want to be. That's who I want to be.
You want to be like your parents.
I do.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's taken me a lot. And even sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness, right? We get annoyed by our parents.
Yeah.
But that's hopefully who I can become in their faith journey of always, no matter what, just doing what the Lord says. In fact, they're going to be moving out of Abilene and going to Hawaii. So
For ministry or just
for ministry.
or just to move?
I'm like, oh, that's tough because they've served in Alaska, Idaho, Wyoming, New York, all over.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, now God's taking them
So
there.
what does Amy Hedges want to be known for?
That I see people.
That you see people. You've mentioned that a lot throughout the whole conversation. What do you mean by being seen or seeing people?
Really acknowledging somebody's presence is there. You know, a lot of people can get lost in the shuffle
Yeah.
and they can try to blend into a wall, but they're really just looking for community. They're looking to be known and not just see people, but really know who they are. Like know their name. Do you know my name? That's a big one to me. Of like, do you know my name?
Yeah.
Not for a fact of look what I can do, but do you know my name?
Yeah.
Because if we know somebody's name, then we're really seeing them. It makes an effort. I remember even the boys when they were little, and I would have people would just come up to me and talk to me in Walmart or wherever we're at. Mm-hmm. And the boys, they'd be like, Mom, do you know them? I'm like, I have no clue who they are. Right?
Yeah.
People are looking for that. They're searching. And so I hope that I can see people.
That's awesome. Well, I applaud you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Through your ministry at Stonegate, through Love Without Limits. It's great. And our friendship.
Oh,
it's great
so
to
good.
reconnect again.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited. Thank you for sharing.
No problem. Thanks for
Appreciate that.
having me.
Thank you for joining with us again this week. And we will see you next time on the catwalk.
Elevate your operation with Performance Chemical Company, the pioneers in redefining chemical solutions for the oil and gas industry in the Permian Basin. Unveiling groundbreaking ideas since 2017, our dry chemistry plant stands as a testament to innovation. Our products and services revolutionize water treatment, production, midstream, and saltwater disposals. We're your strategic partners in optimizing investments, slashing operating expenses. Performance Chemical Company. How you get there matters.